Welcome again. Now we are here with Dr. Meeta Shah. I welcome you, ma'am, and she will tell you about the women entrepreneurship and initiative towards the Atmanirbhar Bharat. I welcome you, ma'am, and please, this show is yours. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir. I'm really happy that this is for the third time again today that I am associated with the Shivalik College of Engineering, and the whole credit goes to Dr. Sandeep Vijay for this. And I hope that this presentation today will hold fruitful for the audience. And here I start with my presentation and the explanation accordingly. The topic chosen for today's webinar is Women Entrepreneurship. In the current scenario, when we see so many people losing their jobs and there is so much of uncertainty as far as the job scenario is concerned, I personally feel that entrepreneurship is the solution. And when we talk about women entrepreneurship, we are adding more to it by making women self-reliant, at the same time giving more to the society as far as job generation is concerned. So the topic chosen for today is women entrepreneurship, and this is basically an initiative towards the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, which has been promoted by our Honorable Prime Minister. Before we go a bit deeper into the presentation, we need to understand that any activity, be it seeking a job or be it being an entrepreneur, it all starts with our personal development. So for that, we need to understand what is the personal development cycle. The personal development cycle, it starts with establishing the purpose or direction. That is, we need to be very confident and very sure about what are our goals in life. Once we are aware of our goals, our positive aspects, our assets, then our skills, then it is easier for us to take the next step. Once we know ourselves, then we have to understand the things around us. That is, identify the development needs. We need to know what all is important in the society that will lead to the development of the society. Once we know ourselves, once we know the atmosphere around us, then we need to know what are the development opportunities available which can be related to our goals as well as the needs of the society. Let me explain these three points with the help of an example. Suppose if my goal is to establish an enterprise and I'm very good at designing, if that is what I am aware of, then my goal is to use my skills related to designing and establish an enterprise. Then I have to see what is the need of the society. If we just see currently as designing and the stitching and all is concerned, then the immediate need of the society or the market would be to design some good quality masks, to design and come up with some good quality and cheap masks or gloves. So that is the need of the society. Then I have to see what all opportunities are available so that I can give shape to my goal, and at the same time I can satisfy the needs of the society. So when we talk about opportunities, we basically need to identify what all are the basic schemes or the initiatives by the government or by the various NGOs which can be harnessed by us to serve our purpose. Once we know what we are good at, what the society needs, and then what all opportunities are available for us, then we need to come up with an action plan. That is how we are going to proceed in the pursuit of the achievement of our goals. Once we have an action plan, then we have to undertake development. Then we have to record the outcomes. We have to keep recording which step have we reached, how well we are doing. Then in the end, we have to review and evaluate. That is whether we have been successful or not. In case if we find any flaws or discrepancies, then we need to work over further improvement. So everybody has to understand this development cycle. And then once we understand this, we have to proceed step by step for the achievement of our goals. The takeaways from this session would be, I'm going to focus on the development and transformation of women. I would be explaining on entrepreneurship development and women entrepreneurship exclusively. there would be an overview of some basic schemes of the government which are for entrepreneurship, and some schemes which are exclusively for women entrepreneurship. And what is the future in this? That would be underway ahead. And finally, a conclusion. Let us understand development and women. When we talk about development of any nation, development of any society, or development of any family, development is incomplete without associating women. Success and development of any society or any country is identified by the status of the women in that particular nation. How well the women are doing, how educated they are, how liberal they are, what all powers do they have. It is this that decides the development of a nation. If we neglect women in the development process, that is, if we consider development without considering women, which is almost half the population, then in that case, we are actually contributing to a waste of human resource management. So the task before any government, if we talk about any government which is considering development, which is considering coping up with any problem, it should be to move steadily and firmly in the process of development and give due respect to women, involve women in the development process. It is because of this we say that whenever any kind of policies are made by the government, they have to exclusively consider women in it. Because if you ignore women, you cannot think of development. Women's development is not about just reducing poverty. If we say that women in our country are educated, they are working, the poverty ratio is much lesser, it's not just what development is. Development is basically liberating the women, empowering the women. And by liberating the women, we are basically talking about giving women due respect, giving women a position as far as decision making is concerned. Now, the stages of development. These are the stages of development for any individual. They are basically 3 stages which we all have to pass through. Development, first of all, starts with individual development. That is our own development. Then the next step in development is the social development. And lastly comes the economic development. So we just cannot consider economic development directly. If we have economic development in mind, we have to consider individual development first. So individual development is basically about identification of self. We should know what are we good at, what are our skills. Then we need to work over polishing those skills, improving those skills, and being the best in whatever we are. Once we are developed individually on an individual scale, we have to consider social development. Social development is all about networking and being recognized in the society. If a person is recognized in the society, there is no way that that person can be stopped from going in for economic development. Say, for example, if I'm very good at teaching, then I have to see what best I can do to improve my teaching. For that, I have to pursue various courses. I have to learn various skills. I have to learn the art of communication so that I can excel in whatever I am good at. Once I have done my individual development, then I have to consider my social development. So for the social development, I have to get connected with the right kind of people. Once I get connected with the right kind of people, definitely I will get opportunities which will lead to my economic development. This is just basically a further explanation of whatever has been explained in that chart. Now, transformation of women. The transformation of women, if we consider women in the current scenario, women are not as they used to be. There have been a lot of changes as far as women's transformation is concerned. And the basic reason behind this is the education of women. Education has brought immense change and immense growth as far as the position of women is concerned. Then when we talk about empowerment, no matter what all things we consider, empowerment of women will be taken seriously only when women have got some sort of monetary benefits, some sort of monetary returns for whatever work they are doing. And when we talk about the current scenario, that is the COVID-19 era, here the various job opportunities have shrunk gradually. And whatever the traditional work methods were, whatever the traditional jobs were, are gradually losing their importance. For example, if we talk about the education scenario, today, online teaching, conducting these webinars, these things have become such a common thing. We never thought of these things a few years ago. We all knew that a need for this would arise, but nobody ever made a serious attempt to learn all this. And just because this Corona thing came in, there was no other option but to switch on the digital platform. And whatever we would have learned in years, we have learned in months, and we are doing so good with it. So we need to understand the philosophy of change. We need to work over ourselves. And when we talk about the scenario in the economic scene, then here the various jobs are gradually going to lose its importance. So here I feel, if we want to be empowered, if we want to seek for some kind of opportunity for ourselves, we need to consider entrepreneurship. So now we come to women entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is basically giving shape to your ideas, giving shape to your thoughts, and flying with it. So it is basically a dynamic self-fueling activity. It is all based on self-motivation and believing in yourself. Well, no matter how good entrepreneurship is, yet when we talk about women, they basically lack certain skills as far as the entrepreneurial ventures are concerned. Like, to a certain extent, women lack marketing skills, women lack the financial skills, how to manage capital for their enterprise, and how to go ahead with this. So if a woman, or if any person, they have decided that they want to consider entrepreneurship, they have to keep repeating these words to themselves, and this affirmation will surely make wonders for them. This affirmation is, I am confident. Keep telling this to yourself every day. I'm confident, I'm courageous, I'm powerful, I'm wise, I'm fearless, I'm strong, and I am fully capable. Trust me, the audience. In the more you keep repeating this to yourself, the more your subconscious mind will start believing in it, and there is nothing that would stop you from being a successful entrepreneur. The entrepreneurship development cycle, it basically consists of three types of activities. First is the stimulatory activities, second is the supporting activities, and third is the sustaining activities. The stimulatory activities are basically concerned about creating an awareness about entrepreneurship. If we talk about today's webinar, it would come under the category of stimulatory activity, whereby we are trying to motivate people in general to consider entrepreneurship by telling the positive aspects about entrepreneurship, and also finding out the flaws which are related to this, and how we can work over improvement of this. Then comes the supporting activity. Suppose if a person has decided to be an entrepreneur, then definitely that person would need a lot of support system in the form of banking activities, in the form of some sort of guidance, in the form of mentorship. All these activities would come under the third head. And last are the sustaining activities. Sustaining activities are those whereby, if an enterprise has already been established, but this enterprise is facing a few challenges, it's not doing well the way it should have been done, then rather than leading to a lockdown of this particular enterprise, what all initiatives can be taken so that this enterprise sustains and achieves its mission? The importance of women entrepreneurship. Why is it that we lay so much of stress on women entrepreneurship? The reason behind is that women entrepreneurs have been appreciated even more, and they create an impact not only on the economy but on the society as a whole. When we talk about women entrepreneurs, they are not just contributing to the society or the economy, they are contributing even to the family, and they are contributing to the generations. In recognition of women's vital role in the socio-economic development, just because women hold such an important role in any economy, government as well as various NGOs, they are coming up to give a boom to the various entrepreneurial activities. The essential role of a woman in the economic development of a nation is being realized in all developing countries, and it's because of this that women entrepreneurship holds so much of importance. And the development of women entrepreneurship, it basically creates a new array of women leaders, and these women leaders can definitely create more leaders for the future. The categories of women entrepreneurs. There are basically three categories of women entrepreneurs. The first category is established in big cities, second in cities and towns, and the third category belongs to the illiterate women. The first category women, which are established in big cities, they have a higher level of technical and professional qualifications, and they deal basically non-traditional items, and they are the ones who come from strong financial backgrounds, and they also have good financial positions in the society. The second category of women entrepreneurs who are established in cities and towns, they have sufficient education. They are not highly qualified, they are just moderately qualified. They deal both in traditional as well as non-traditional items, and they basically keep themselves involved in services like kindergarten, creches, beauty parlors, health clinics, etc. The third category, which is of illiterate women, they belong to that category who are financially weak. They are involved in family business such as agriculture, horticulture, animal husbandry, dairy, fisheries, etc. And they are into basically the traditional family businesses only. Being a woman entrepreneur, let me tell you, is not an easy thing. A woman has to face a lot of challenges. Here, I would just like to mention a few lines in Hindi. कठिनाइयाँ, मुश्किलें, चुनौतियाँ, दिक्कतें हर एक के जीवन में आती है, लेकिन कुछ लोग या तो निखर जाते हैं या तो बिखर जाते हैं. So as women entrepreneurs have certain obstacles to face. No matter what obstacles they have to face, I personally feel that they need to deal with it and they have to excel. So the basic obstacle that any woman entrepreneur would face is the lack of skills required for entrepreneurial ventures. They are not as skilled as the male entrepreneurs. The reason being our societal pattern, I would say. The absence of non-availability of skills to develop women as entrepreneurs. There are no such programs which can just lead to development of women entrepreneurs. So if such programs are developed and women are specially involved into it, definitely this obstacle can be coped up with. From the policy makers' perspectives, policymakers are getting more and more interested in fostering the development of women's entrepreneurship, because when we talk about a women's development, it's not just development of a woman, it is development of the family, development of the society, and ultimately development of the nation. So developing women is basically in the best economic interest of the population. So policy puts more and more policies for the development of women and promoting women entrepreneurship. There is some research-based evidence that fostering entrepreneurial activity in general and women's entrepreneurial development in particular is associated with greater economic growth. Because if we develop a woman, we basically develop a society. So this development is not going to just exist with one person, it is going to be carried out for generations. So consider women in the various policy making process. What are the policy makers' views as far as women entrepreneurship is concerned? A number of policies have been formulated for social and economic development of women in all possible areas like education, vocational training, health services, family planning, welfare, and development. Housewives play a significant role as far as small-scale enterprises are concerned. Why women entrepreneurship? Why do we need to consider women entrepreneurship on a serious note? The reason behind it is that if women are economically empowered, if women have something of their own, then they are in a position to make their own decisions. And decision making is the first step when we talk about empowerment. They are able to do preferable work. Women in non-traditional fields who are just doing whatever their family has been imposing on them, by having something on their own, they are in a position to develop their own strong network, and they are in a position to deal with their skills in a better way and lead to empowerment. Once women attain the financial independence is a major factor which can be considered to calculate a two-term empowerment. Impact of entrepreneurship on empowerment. Why we can associate women entrepreneurship with empowerment of women. If a woman is associated with some kind of entrepreneurial venture, definitely having something of her own is going to lead to self-confidence. More confident a woman is, more confident the family is. It's going to help in economic solvency of the family. The woman can be in a position to give a better lifestyle to the family. She can contribute to the family income, and she can also help out the family in if the education of the children is concerned. Capital building. The economic success of women enables them to expand their business, procure new machinery, tools, accessories, and relevant necessities, and modernization takes place. And capital attracts capital. So if a woman is successful in one venture, surely she would be in a position to invest in another venture in future. And lastly is the status. An empowered woman can definitely enjoy a better status or a higher status in the society. So to be empowered, you need some kind of involvement. And when we talk about involvement, there can be no better option than by being an entrepreneur. A woman has to face certain challenges if she has decided to be an entrepreneur. The first and the foremost challenge is the problem of finance. What I observe that in any family, it is easy for a boy to get financial support from the family, but it is a little difficult for a lady to get some kind of financial support. And as far as finances from the banking sector is concerned or the governmental initiatives is concerned, it requires a lot of paperwork. And if a lady has a lot of skills, but she is not that qualified, then she would somehow be stopped by because of this paperwork, and she would not be in a position to cope up with the financial requirements. Then there are a lot of socio-cultural barriers, because no matter what we say, the first priority of any woman is her family. So no matter how high she wants to fly, she's somehow taken aback by her family responsibilities, because our societal pattern is such whereby it is a lady who has to take care of the house, and she has to fulfill this first need of the family. Lack of confidence. As women do not get as much exposure as men, they are always given a backseat. They do lack some kind of confidence to move out, to give shape to their ideas. They have low risk bearing ability. Women are not in a position to take higher risk as far as men are concerned. Marketing and sales skills. Women are a little bit reluctant as far as movements are concerned. And they are not that open to talking to people and interacting with people, because of which they lack the marketing and sales skills. They need finance for growth also. So initially there is a problem related to arranging finance for establishing the enterprise. If the enterprise has been established, she again has to face challenges as far as finances are required for growth. Women who are not that educated. They lack in management skills. They are not very aware as far as administrative and regulatory requirements are concerned. They do not have that much access to the markets. The reason being the movement issue as far as women is concerned. Awareness about business support services. Then they lack. There is a lot of discrimination which women have to face by the finance providers. As far as the finance providers are concerned, they also, to a certain extent, have more of faith on men and less on women. There is an issue related to access of technology also. They are not as sound in as far as technology is concerned. And when we talk about the current scenario, everything has come on a digital platform. So lack of knowledge as far as technology is concerned can definitely be a setback for the enterprise. Adaptation to quality standards. Uh, Women have a little problem as far as being aware of the quality standards is concerned, and then adapting to these quality standards. There is a little issue related to intellectual property protection also. So I personally feel that in case if we can provide them some serious training and some serious, make them a part of some workshops whereby all these things can be taught to them on a proper, in a proper manner by experts, and there is availability of proper mentors for every problem that they are facing, definitely women can excel. These are the challenges which are explained through the graph. Now the policy implications. If we consider women entrepreneurship and we want to promote women entrepreneurship, there have to be certain contributions from the policy makers too. So whenever policies are made for women, these points are to be kept in consideration. First is the education policy. The education policy should be designed in such a way that they lead to expansion of economic opportunities for women. Then poverty eradication program, which specially addresses the needs and problems of women, should be initiated. All the banks, no matter which type of bank they are, they should come up with some sort of provisions to encourage women to take up entrepreneurial ventures. There should be some kind of special training courses, and these kind of training courses which can help the women in improving their skills and dealing with the challenges should be offered free by the government. Interest-free consumption credit for vulnerable women should be provided by the government, banks, financial institutions, and wealthy individuals. Special assistance should be provided to the specially disadvantaged groups of women who are living in extreme poverty or conflict situations or have suffered some kind of natural calamities. If they are provided some kind of special privileges or assistance, they can definitely find a reason to live and contribute to the society. The current scenario. In the recent years, a wide spectrum of new programs and opportunities to nurture innovation have been created. A lot of policymakers are already doing a lot of work, and we can see that there are a lot of improvements and a lot of schemes being proposed for the development of women and women entrepreneurship. We need to recognize the importance of women entrepreneurship and economic participation in enabling the country's growth and prosperity. We need to have one thing very clear in mind, that if we are considering the growth and prosperity of our country, we have to recognize that women entrepreneurship is a very good solution to deal with it. Government of India has ensured that all policy initiatives are geared towards enabling equal opportunity for women. The government seeks to bring women to the forefront of India's entrepreneurial ecosystem by providing access to loans, networks, markets, and trainings. So when we talk about the current scenario, government has already come up with a lot of policies, programs, and initiatives. Government has already recognized that women entrepreneurship is going to be a sure shot factor to help in the growth and prosperity of the nation. And the government also believes that if they want to consider development, they have to come up with policy for women. And the government itself wants to bring women to the forefront as far as the entrepreneurial scenario is concerned, because government believes that development of women will surely contribute to the development of the nation. Now, here I'm going to talk about the few basic schemes which have been proposed by the government for promotion of entrepreneurship, not for women in particular, but entrepreneurs in general. First is Startup India, Make in India, Atal Innovation Mission, Support to Training and Employment Program for Women, that is STEP, Jan Dhan Aadhaar Mobile, Digital India, Biotechnology Industry Research Assistant Council, Department of Science and Technology, Stand Up India, Trade Related Entrepreneurship Assistance and Development, that is TRED, Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana, National Skill Development Mission, Science for Equity, Empowerment and Development. I have just prepared a brief just to give a brief insight into what these policies are all about. The Startup India initiative is all about mentoring, nurturing, and facilitating startups. Make in India initiatives is designed to transform India into a global design and manufacturing hub. The Atal Innovation Mission provides world-class incubation facilities with appropriate physical infrastructure in terms of capital equipment and operating facilities. Support to training and employment program for women is to train women with no access to formal scale training facilities. The Jan Dhan Aadhaar Mobile is basically about direct transfer of subsidies so that less involvement of intermediaries in between can deal to the to direct transfer of the grants into the account of the beneficiaries. The Digital India initiative is to modernize the Indian economy to make all government services available electronically. In fact, even this e-court services have been initiated. Everything has come on a digital platform these days. The Biotechnology Industry Research Assistant Council is to strengthen and empower emerging biotechnology. The Department of Science and Technology encourages cooperation in science, technology, and innovation through joint research across sectors and provides fellowships to scientists and researchers from Asian member states. Stand Up India. It aims to enable economic participation of and share the benefit of India's growth among women entrepreneurs belonging to the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes category. Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana enables credit availability to interested women through NGOs. Sorry, this is a trade-related entrepreneurship assistance and development program. Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana is a skill certification initiative that aims to train the youth. National Skill Development Mission is about helping out the unskilled labor in and to make them industry friendly. The Science for Equity, Empowerment and Development aims to provide opportunities to motivated scientists and field level workers. Now I'm going to talk about the schemes which are exclusively for promotion of women entrepreneurship. For this, we have the Bharatiya Mahila Bank, the Annapurna Scheme, Stree Shakti, Orient Mahila Vikas Yojana Scheme, Dena Shakti Scheme, Udyogini Scheme, Kent Kalyani Scheme, Mahila Udyam Niti Scheme, Mudra Yojana Scheme for women, and Deen Dayal Antyodaya Scheme. The brief explanations of these schemes. The Bharatiya Mahila Bank is a bank that focuses on providing services to underprivileged women who want to start their own business. The Annapurna scheme is for those women who are quite good at cooking and they want to have their own food catering business and just need a financial leg up. The Stree Shakti scheme is for those who have been a part of the entrepreneurship development program to give their business a boost. The Orient Mahila Vikas Yojana scheme provides ladies with the capital they require for starting small businesses. The Dena Shakti scheme is for those women who want to make a business out of manufacturing goods and agricultural work. The Udyogini scheme, it provides loans, business loans to women at low interest rates. The Kent Kalyani scheme is ideal for women who manage small and medium enterprises or is involved in agricultural work or engages in retail trading. The Mahila Udyam Niti scheme provides a loan and aims to help women set up new projects. The Mudra Yojana scheme for women aims at providing financial support to women entrepreneurs in India who want to open a daycare center, beauty salon, or a similar venture. The Deen Dayal Atyodaya scheme, that is the National Livelihood Mission, is a commendable initiative. The central government is implementing it with the help of state government. So now, with so much of slides already been run and so much of explanation already undertaken, we all are confident that we need to come up with women entrepreneurs. We need to promote those enterprises which has women leaders. But how to develop women entrepreneurs? What all should we do for them? So for that, we need to consider these points. We need to consider women as specific target group. We need to create our focus on women, and we need to accept the fact that development without women is incomplete or impossible. We need to provide better educational facilities and come up with more and more schemes for women from the side of the government. Better educational facilities, maybe at concessional rates or free, whatever way is possible for the government, and come up with more and more schemes which are targeting only on development of women. We need to come up with adequate training program which basically focuses on management skills, and it needs to be provided to the women community, so that whatever hesitance is there, whatever lack of confidence is there on their side, that can be catered to. We need to encourage women's participation in decision making. For this, we need to give prominent position to women in the political scenario also, so that whenever any kind of policies are made which are exclusively for women, they have participation from the women's too, so that these policies are made as per the desired needs of women. Vocational training is very important, and it needs to be extended to the women community, and so that they are in a position to understand the product, the various things related to production management, and they can come up with products which can compete with the international scenario. We need to focus on skill development. Skill development should be catered to women's polytechnics and industrial training institutes, and skills are put to work in training and production workshops. Training on professional competence and leadership skills is to be extended to women entrepreneurs, because as women have already taken a back seat, they are reluctant to take the leadership positions. So provide them training and give them a chance to work as a leader, because one confident woman can motivate thousands of confident women. Training and counseling on a large scale of women entrepreneurs to remove psychological causes like lack of self-confidence and fear of success. Whatever problems, maybe personal or whatever psychological, these women they are facing, they have to be catered to by various NGOs. They need to come up, they should have some trained people who can help them out in coping up with this stress. Continuous monitoring and improvement of training programs is very important, because there are a lot of training programs which are initiated by the government, and they are taking place on papers also. But there has to be a continuous monitoring to see the efficacy of these programs. Activities in which women are trained should focus on their marketability and profitability. We need to make provision of marketing and sales assistance. Whatever products are made by the women's group, there has to be some kind of provision to come up with some marketing and sales assistance, so that their products get some kind of recognition in the market. We need to encourage more women entrepreneurs through women training programs. And these training programs are not just to train already existing women entrepreneurs. We also need to come up with training programs so that we can motivate women to take up entrepreneurship, and then to develop. First of all, we need to develop an insight into entrepreneurship, and then we have to consider this on a serious note by establishing an enterprise. The state finance corporations and financing institutions should permit by law to extend purely trade-related finance to women entrepreneurs. The financial institutions should provide more working capital assistance both for small-scale venture and large-scale ventures. We need to make provision for microcredit system and enterprise credit system to the women entrepreneurs at local level, because the women entrepreneurs at a local level would not go in for a financial assistance requiring huge amount of capital. So there has to be some sort of provision for microcredit system. I have already taken one webinar on gender sensitization with Shivalik College. So I'll repeat it again over here. If we want to consider women entrepreneurship, we have to keep on coming up with programs related to gender sensitization, so that whatever issues we have related to the mindset that a woman cannot do this or a man should be doing this mindset has to be catered to, and it has to be catered plots and sheds. These kind of properties should be provided to women at some kind of subsidy region. Industrial estates could also provide marketing outlets for the display and sale of products made by. Very important. A women entrepreneurs guidance cell should be set up to handle the various problems of women entrepreneurs, so that if a woman develops the courage to establish an enterprise, and if she is facing any kind of issue, so in the absence of proper guidance, she should not just say go to this enterprise by closing it down. She has to keep it going. So for that, whatever guidance is required, it should be made available in the by establishing these entrepreneurs guidance cells. Programs for encouraging entrepreneurship among women, they are not to be just extended at the city level. They have to be extended at the local level. And training in entrepreneurial attitudes should start at the high school. So if we want to develop women entrepreneurs, let us give them an opportunity from the very initial stages, that is right from the time they are in school, so that they develop a mindset, they develop a clarity, and they know what they have to do after the completion of their studies. More and more governmental schemes should be initiated to motivate women entrepreneurs to engage in small scale and large scale business ventures. Programs and counseling is concerned. More and more NGOs have to come. Our activities, they consider promotion of women entrepreneurship. The conclusion of this is entrepreneurship among women. Now we all know that it leads to improvement in wealth and thus improvement of the nation. Women today are more willing to take up activities that were once considered the preserve of men. Women today are ready to take up activities and do things which was just restricted to men in the initial stages. Women have proved that they are second to no one with respect to contribution to the growth of the economy. Women are ready to stand by the side of. They are equal partners as far as the growth of any kind of economy is concerned. So women entrepreneurship must be molded properly with entrepreneurial traits and skills to meet the changes in trends and challenges in the global market. So if we want to develop women entrepreneurs, we have to just provide them a structure in the form of developing their entrepreneurial qualities and their skills, so that they can meet the challenges which are arising due to the constant changes in the global markets. I would like to end my session with a very nice saying by Michelle Obama, which says that there is no limit to what we as women can accomplish. Sky is the limit. Go high, fly high, believe in yourself. Thank you so much. I'll end my session with this.